Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new video on the 3D Critic channel. Today I'm going to give you guys my performance review on the Way of Wade Shadow 6. Now before I do that, I'm going to give a quick rundown of how the Shadow 5 performed for me. To me, it was a pretty solid shoe. The traction was very good, the cushioning was comfortable and had a nice response and bounce to it. The materials, however, they were a little lackluster and kind of cheap, and the fit was all over the place. But the lockdown and support did make up for it, so it was a pretty solid shoe. It was just on the cheap side of things, and the fit was really weird. So I was curious to see if those issues were remedied in the Shadow 6. And as far as pricing goes, they do go for $120 on Way of Wade's website right now. So if you guys are interested, I will leave a link in the description box, as well as a referral code where you can save $15 off of your order. So to me, when it came down to the try-on experience, it was very easy at the end of the day. It was a much simpler process compared to the Shadow 5s. So loosen up the laces, get your foot inside the shoe, and you're pretty much good to go. As far as sizing is concerned, I would go true to size. The fit overall to me felt pretty good. The length is just right, and it does butt to the top of the toe box, while the width runs a little long, so you're going to have a little bit of wiggle room when it comes to the length of the shoe. But regardless, I would still go true to size. If you have a narrow foot, I would probably go true to size as well, maybe go down a half size because of the narrowness of the shoe. It is a little bit more forgiving. Well, for wide footers, I would probably go up half a size as well because of the narrowness of the shoe itself. So yeah, to me, I would go true to size. Narrow footers, I would probably go down half a size, maybe go true to size. However, for wide footers, go up half a size. So for the traction itself, you're going to get this decoupled tough rubber outsole with this maze looking pattern that you get in the forefoot as well as in the heel. And as far as the grip is concerned, it is pretty nice on a clean court, but it does take some time to rubber them in because initially they do felt I was like sliding here and there for a good bit. So I did have to go through a rubber warming phase. And once you get through that phase, lateral movements felt pretty good going side to side. You do occasionally slide a little bit here and there, but for the most part, they remain pretty consistent when it comes to lateral quickness. Vertical movements, they do a good job as well. The hard stops felt instant, but you do slide from time to time when you are trying to get a quick first step. Get offs, for example. So if you are going to get a really quick first step, you're going to experience a little bit of sliding. However, the experience improves over time due to the rubber warming that you're going to have to go through when it comes to the outsole itself. So as long as you warm up the rubber, the experience is going to improve over time. As far as dust is concerned, it picks up dust fairly quickly and it sticks to the outsole from time to time. So you're going to have to wipe them down regularly every now and then. But it does a decent job as far as retaining the quickness laterally and vertically. So you are just be mindful that you're going to have to wipe them down every now and then because the dust sticks to the outsole a little bit. As far as durability goes, like I said, the rubber is made out of tough rubber, so it is very durable. The only signs of wear that I have noticed is the mini traction patterns that you get on the grooves themselves. You get like an extra layer of traction with the grooves that you get on top of that. And I experience balding from the rubber itself with the grid-like pattern that you get, but everywhere else it feels like I didn't really do anything. So for outdoor use, you should be good to go on these. Indoors, like I said earlier, the rubber warming phase, as long as you get through that phase, it gives you a pretty nice grip profile. Just be mindful that it does pick up dust and you do have to wipe them down frequently. Now for the cushioning itself, you're going to get a full-length boom midsole that you can see exposed on the medial side of the shoe. And as far as how they feel really nice in my opinion. In the forefoot, they are really responsive and really lively under my foot. It was a very buoyant experience when it came to the forefoot cushioning. And on top of that, with the bottom-loaded fork shaped TPU plate that you get underneath, it adds a really nice bounce under your steps, so you're going to have a nice launch off of the ground when you're trying to get up vertically. So it was a pretty good experience when you complement the boom as well as the TPU plate that you're going to get. So it resulted in a very responsive, lively feel with a really good bounce setup. And in the heel, it's pretty comfortable. You do get really nice compression in the heel. And as a result, impact protection on heel strikes were very solid as well. So it was a pretty comfortable shoe as far as how it feels under your foot. Very lively, buoyant, so to speak. And as far as fluidity goes, it is very smooth, even though the outsole itself is decoupled, but it manages to retain a nice level of fluidity going heel to toe. So heel to toe transitions felt nice and smooth, and getting up and down the court because of the shank that you get, it has a nice snappy feel under your foot too. So yeah, pretty nice cushioning setup in my opinion. A step up to the Shadow 5s in my opinion. Simply put, it's a buoyant cushioning setup with a responsive, lively feel under your foot, and overall a very comfortable setup. Now, getting into the materials, you're going to get this textiled weave upper that you get around the shoe in the forefoot, lateral and medial side of the shoe, along with this synthetic fuse overlay in the toe box and some more synthetics here in the back half of the shoe. The tongue itself has some nice mesh padding, and you do get a little bit of padding here on the top with some really nice stitching on the top, and you do get some decent amount of padding that you get in the heel as well. And overall, to me, they are pretty comfortable, but it does require some braking time, especially in the forefoot. However, once you do that, it is pretty flexible, very lightweight, so you won't experience any pinching in the forefoot, and the padding on the tongue is adequate enough, that way you won't experience any lace irritation in the back. And padding in the heel is adequate, so it is pretty comfortable and very form-fitting in the back half of the shoe. The only thing that I'm weirded out is this lace profile that you get in the shoe. It has this rounded chain link pattern, so to speak, so that was like the first time I've seen it when it comes to shoelaces in general, so that was a weird experience to say the least. Aside from that, as far as aesthetics go, they look really clean, especially with this mint colorway that you get. It has a very nice aesthetic to it, with the overall just single colored blocking that you get. Looks really nice, really minty at the same time. I also like the dove stitching that you get on the tongue, along with the Way of Weight logo that is integrated on the lateral side back half of the shoe, which is really cool. Mainly the only gripe I have about this is that the textiles is on the cheap end and very thin, and you're also going to get some cuts and stabs on the fuse overlay that you get on the toe box, which is expected. It is really thin and really cheap, so once someone steps on it, it's gonna look really gnarly. But at the end of the day, it's a pretty comfortable setup, pretty basic as far as materials go, but it is a simplified version compared to the Shadow 5s in my opinion. Now for the lockdown, to me, I find it very solid and adjustable, which I will get to in a second. Firstly, in the forefoot, it barely moves because of the nice fit that you get, so you won't experience any lateral movement inside the shoe. And then the same goes for the length. It does run a little long, like I said in the beginning, but I did notice my foot shifting forward, so when it comes to a forefoot lockdown, it is really good. Moving into the midfoot, the cabled lacing system is integrated with the materials itself, which does a pretty good job. And on top of that, you get an extra like level kind of style of midfoot lockdown with the chain link style of the laces that you get. So there's like a level to the amount of tightness that you want when it comes to the midfoot lockdown, which was pretty sophisticated in my opinion, as far as that's concerned. And as you move up into the lace line, the top ankle eyelet, there is an extra eyelet where you can tighten the ankle a little bit more, so you're going to get extra containment on the top of the midfoot. But as you move into the heel, the doesn't really change the heel lockdown in my opinion when you adjust the ankle collar lacing in the back. As a result of that, the heel lockdown is basically pretty good. It does slide a little bit in the beginning, but as you break in the material, it comes to the point where you slide a little bit to the point where you don't really notice it. So at the end of the day, it is a very solid and adjustable lockdown setup, with the forefoot doing its job and the heel doing its job, as long as you figure out the levels of midfoot lockdown that you want. And as far as that's locked down, the heel and forefoot is locked down as well, and it is pretty nice and adjustable on top of that. And last but not least, when it comes to support, it is nothing crazy, but with the overall profile that you get and the tech that you get in the shoe, it gets the job done when you need it most. Firstly, as far as lateral support is concerned, you do get this bulged out midsole, and you also sit within the midsole itself to give you some rigidity, and you also get this plastic clip on top of the midsole to give you some extra rigidity, and the fuse overlay to make sure that the material doesn't give out when you're doing lateral cuts on the forefoot. And that TPU clip goes further into the midfoot, so you are going to get some containment there, and you'll also sit a little bit within the midsole, so you're going to have some nice containment there. And in the back, you get this TPU clip that goes all the way to the back and acts as a heel counter, along with a little heel counter inside, which gives you some nice containment in the back half of the shoe. Moving into the torsional support, like I said earlier, you do get a bottom-loaded TPU clip in the midfoot, and it transitions into a fork-shaped plate. So you're going to get some rigidity in the midfoot so that you won't contort very easily, while maintaining some flexibility here in the forefoot, giving you a nice balanced look without sacrificing the overall rigidity. So you're going to have some flexibility while being really balanced inside the shoe. And the base itself is fairly wide. You are going to get some a wide surface from the outsole itself, and it is very flat too, so you're going to have a nice flat plane when it comes to the outsole itself. So you're going to have a nice stable platform outside and inside of the shoe with the torsional rigidity that you're going to get from the shoe itself. So yeah, at the end of the day, it's nothing crazy, but what you get as far as a support standpoint, it gets the job done when you need it most. So to sum it up for you guys, the Shadow 6 are a very simplistic approach compared to the Shadow 5s as far as the overall structure of the shoe, while being a significant upgrade at the same time. To me, the traction performs exactly the same in my opinion compared to the Shadow 5s. However, the cushion is a huge step up. It provides a overall more buoyant feel under your foot and being really comfortable, while in the Shadow 5s it was a comfortable setup, had decent responsiveness and bounce. The materials are a lot more simplistic with the textiles that you get compared to the fuse material that you got on the Shadow 5s, which was really gnarly, but it got the job done. The lockdown support are pretty good as well. So to me, the main upgrade is basically the boom midsole that you get compared to the Cloud Foam Plus cushioning that you got in the 5s. And it is a lot more simplistic when it comes to the fit. It's pretty much gets rid of the complexities that I experienced in the Shadow 5s and is much more simplistic in the Shadow 6s. So yeah, it's a very simplistic approach comparing it to the Shadow 5s while being a significant upgrade at the same time as far as the boom cushioning itself. Thank you guys for watching this video. This has been my performance review of the Wade Shadow 6. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video and comment down below on what you think of the Shadow 6. Are they better than the Shadow 5s, or do you like the Shadow 5s more than the Shadow 6? I'd like to know your thoughts on that, along with any other questions that you might have. If you'd like to stay up to date with future videos that I'll be posting, hit the subscribe button down below, and it'll greatly support the channel as well. If you want to see my review on the Shadow 5s, I will leave it on this side of the screen. And if you'd like to follow me on social media, all of that information will be in the description box below. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. I hope this was beneficial to you guys. And until next time, keep shooting.